This is the future of Nike signature shoes. Well, technically, this is the Nike Air Trainer 3, or, well, if you ask the sneakerhead, it's the Bo Jackson. So really the shoe is like three things. Well, this one in particular is four because it's made for Saquon Barkley, so it's more than just the future of Nike signature shoes and Air Trainer 3 and the Bo Jackson. And I think I just confused myself, but let me break this down. Hey guys, it's poppin', Jacques Slade here, and this is the latest release from Nike Sportswear, the Nike Air Trainer 3 for Saquon Barkley. The last part of that sentence is the part that really makes this shoe special, and if you understand correctly, could be the future of what we see with Nike and some of the athletes they signed to the brand. Think of it as a signature athlete and not a signature shoe, and it will make a bit more sense, but let's take a closer look at this pair first. See, this was originally designed by the legendary Tinker Hatfield. This version of the Air Trainer 3 stays pretty true to the original version that was released back in the late 80s. If you are a fan of that time period, you see a lot of Tinker-isms in the design. When I look at the shoe, it reminds me a lot of the Air Jordan 3 and the Air Jordan 4. If I had to describe it using those shoes, it's basically a football version of those silhouettes combined. You get the Air unit in the heel with the slightly elevated outsole at the heel, and then you get the mudguard on the lateral side there to help with containment. This is probably one of the key points in the design that goes between both basketball and football. As you need to cut, sometimes pretty drastically in both sports, it helps. Considering this model was originally used for the two-sport legend named Bo Jackson, it was originally envisioned as a more general training shoe as opposed to a football training shoe, but I think most people just associate it with the football side of Bo other than baseball. And just to be clear, the shoe was never officially the Bo Jackson signature shoe in the way that we think of signature shoes these days. It was more like the Air Trainer 3 was a shoe Nike made, and Bo Jackson served as the pitchman for these shoes. That being said, in the sneaker circles, these were Bo Jacksons in the same way the Air Jordan 1s are called Jordans. They just didn't have his actual name on the shoe. Now for this new pair, Nike is taking a slightly different angle than we usually get with shoes endorsed by an athlete. First, this model takes a ton of inspiration from the 90s. Saquon has said that he is not only a fan of Bo Jackson, but also of the early 90s, especially when he saw Spike Lee wearing the shoes on the set for his movies. Instead of just slapping his name on it and calling it a day, Nike took Saquon's ideas and molded them into this design. You see the reflective detailing on the underlays, which are inspired by the always happening construction that's going on in New York City. The shoe also updates the Nike swoosh with two black lines, which pull directly from football, as you know. Fun fact, players wear those lines under their eyes as a way to prevent glare from the lights in the stadium. There is still debate about if it actually works, but if you didn't know, that's why they wear it. Anyways, where was I? So the tongue. The tongue has also been updated to include more foam, or exposed foam, I should say. This is not new, but as you guys already know, this is definitely an offshoot of the off-white style of design, and it looks nice across the upper of the shoe. On the reverse of the tongue, you get a bit of a hit of green, which is a call out to the grass fields, and you get that same color beneath the Velcro on the midfoot strap. Other changes include a semi-translucent cage, which if you look really closely, you can see the Nike logo with Saquon's logo placed beneath it. As with any trainer, you need to keep the shoe breathable, so there are plenty of perforations all over the upper of this shoe. Though this isn't really a training shoe anymore, let's be clear, this is definitely more of a lifestyle offering than anything else. And look, this is the first time Nike has done something like this. A few years back, Nike treated Victor Cruz the same way and gave him his own version of the Air Trainer. In this situation though, it feels like Nike modified the shoe a lot more and made it a signature shoe for Victor Cruz, not the same thing that I think they're doing with Saquon Barkley. In Saquon's instance, this feels like Nike's taking an already existing silhouette and making it the signature shoe for Saquon. For years, the Nike Air Trainer 3 was attached to Bo Jackson. Even as the shoe retroed over the years, the link with Bo Jackson stood strong. But, and this is the big part, not as many people remember Bo Jackson anymore. His role in pop culture, which, let's be honest, helps to sell shoes, is slowly but surely fading away. We as sneakerheads know who he is, but the general public, I don't think they know. And that's where you put in Saquon. With the Air Trainer 3, Nike doesn't have to create a signature shoe for him. We saw this with basketball players like Blake Griffin with the Superfly series with Jordan Brand. No, the shoe didn't have Blake's name on it, but by all accounts, it really felt like it was Blake's signature shoe. To me, That feels like the future. Every athlete doesn't need a signature shoe. The research and development and commitment it takes to create a product specifically for one athlete is pretty intense, and to be fair, it's expensive. However, with a huge catalog of sneakers, brands can tweak the model from signature shoe to signature athlete. With this model, Nike can do a few things. One, not have to worry about creating something new that people may not love. They can take an already beloved sneaker and attach it to a modern day athlete that gets the shoe back into the larger conversation, and they get to promote an athlete that may not be the biggest name in the game, but has a big enough following to warrant spending some marketing dollars and customizing a few details. Think about all of the old sneakers that people love. Could we get a Ben Simmons version that goes beyond just adding his logo, but making the shoe a hybrid of what we remember and an aesthetic that calls out to Ben's world? It's really a win-win for Nike and a great option for athletes that, if we're being honest, would have never gotten their own signature shoe. And that's not to say they don't deserve a signature shoe, but in a sport like football, baseball, or tennis, or really any other sport than basketball, the appeal of the in-game sneakers just don't have the same feel. The best place for them is in the lifestyle lane, with a shoe that has a proven track record that can be customized to fit their persona and style. This Air Trainer 3 is the perfect version of that. You have a beloved silhouette connected to a young player that resonates not only with the younger audience, but connects through the older generation as well because of his style of play that just so happens to align with the player that endorsed the Air Trainer 3 before he did. On one side, we get something we love through the eyes of someone new. On the flip side, we miss out on finding something new to love and letting that person create their own world. It's an interesting place to be in the sneaker world, and I think for some athletes, especially those who are big enough but play a sport that doesn't translate as well outside of the game, this is a great way to get that signature feeling without the brand having to oversaturate the signature shoe game. Anyway, those are my thoughts. You can look for this Air Trainer 3 Saquon Barkley to drop in early October for $180. And let me know what you guys think about the signature athlete versus signature shoe game. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.